Hello and welcome to another video recording, or in fact the first video recording of the Industrial Genomics series. I'm Wilfy Horig, Chaos Juggler on Gentechie.net, and this is going to be my first solo venture, so bear with me a little while I try and work out what's going on. We're playing the Industrial Genomics deck, which you might have seen in the deck tech previously, and yeah, we're playing against a kit, so these non-code gate ice are probably going to be a little more susceptible to fractors decoders than they might necessarily be otherwise. So I think usually this deck wants to start setting up by protecting its centrals early. But there's no agendas on HQ, so I'm just going to start by drawing and then put this on R&D and this in a remote. You really want to get your drip economy set up early, especially with launch campaign, and so I like to play it down even if it is a little vulnerable early, just because of how difficult it is for runners to afford to face check, to spend their early clicks to run servers. So first I'll draw, just because drawing early is really good with this deck, so you can dump some cards into archives, and I will, I think I'll put this over HQ, and then put this, I'm not really worried about them running, since I assume they won't run until they get a code gate breaker, just because a code gate breaker basically does the job of a fairy in protecting from sentries. So I think I'll just put this on archives for now. Oh, no, maybe that doesn't make any sense, because I'll know it's Crick. So maybe I'll put this on server 1, because Susano is the ice that most wants to go on a remote anyway, just because of how good it is at protecting your server, but not really good at efficiently defending your centrals, just because it can reroute them to archives, and that can often not be so good if you don't have anything defending archives, but it's great on a remote. So what did our opponent do? So they just drew 3 times and played professional contacts. A perfectly reasonable thing to start off with, and we're going to draw. Ashigaru is good, but I think we need to set up some more drip economy. So I might draw again, and then Vanity Project, that could be better. And then put this Crick on archives, and then I'll discard an assassin, since we don't really need 3, and I think a caprice, just because it's gonna be a while before we can start scoring. So I've decided to ditch the caprice instead of these economy cards and defensive cards and agendas, which of course usually need to stay in your hand, but I have been known to discard Future Perfect before, just because it's oftentimes it's safer in archives than it is in HQ. So yeah, our opponent's just setting up. Let's see what they want to do. Looks like they are still thinking. That's cool. Alright, lockpick, sure. So they're going to try and assemble a stealth rig with Refractor, which is quite good against Assassin, just because 5 is the breakpoint, but quite bad against Crick and neutral against Susano, I suppose. Oh, cool. Pad campaign, perfect. So let's draw. These agendas are really piling up, but it's going to be a while before my opponent starts running, so I'm not super worried about that. Put this pad in a new server, just because it doesn't really matter if they trash it, since it costs them 6, and medical, just because I think there's not going to be really a good time to do it in future turns. I don't really want to draw again, since I already, the more I draw without being able to find Jackson or things I can play immediately, just the more chance there is of having agendas just flood my hand. So I usually prefer just to draw early and ditch the unnecessary cards into archives, rather than drawing later on in my turn. So yep, contacts twice, Kuroda, film critic. Man, no one told me commentating solo was going to be so difficult, but hopefully it goes okay. I haven't run out of things to say yet. So let's draw. Cortex Lock. So they usually have Astrolabe, and Cortex Lock is going to be alive for a while still, I think. So I think let's put it on HQ, just because I have this. They have this film critic, so it actually is a bit dangerous. And let's put this Caprice in server 1, just because if they run server 1, it's okay, since we have 2 face downs. It would cost them 3 to trash the Caprice. And we really need to get a server started at some point anyway. So let's see. I would like to have more drip economy cards though. That's the most important thing for this deck early. So maybe I should have mulliganed my opening hand since I only had 1. Oh, another vanity project. That's a little gross. So what can we do? Our opponent has the refractor, so this server is safe for now, but isn't long-term safe. I think we'll draw. Oh, another health clinic. That's perfect. And would I rather put this Ashigaru on server 1? I think on server 1. Maybe. Maybe I want to put it on R&D. No, I think Ashigaru Susano is a great server, I think, to have in the late game. So let's, given that basically all the things I do need to be setting up for the late game, let's do that. Contacts. Laundry, R&D. Okay, so if I res, then they can run HQ. I can still res Cortex Lock, and they'll eat up their... Yeah, so I think let's just try and drain their resources, if possible, just because I don't really like the idea of giving them free accesses, and I want to have all the... Like, I put all these ice here to res them anyway, like, they're all going to have to be res at some point, so let's try and res them when we're not too pressured, like, since this eats their ability and they can't realistically run again this turn. So it pays 4 to trash launch campaign. Okay, that's not a huge deal. It is draining their resources a little bit, so that's good. Even though the launch campaign would be quite useful. And they have 1 more action. Let's see what they want to do. Contacts again. Perfect. Well, I don't know if it's perfect or not, but it is what it is. So let's res this health clinic. Drop. Ashigaru. Alright, that one's definitely going to go in R&D, but I think maybe not yet. I might try and... internsing a launch campaign doesn't really seem like a great use of an interns. It is interesting that if they still currently can't break this crick, but I assume they have to know that it's a crick. So let's start by drawing. Shock's still not that useful. Let's put this on R&D, and let's just gain a credit. It always feels bad to gain credits, but I don't really want to draw another card. And I do only have 2 drip economy pieces, so gaining credits, and I have drawn most of my expensive ice, so maybe it isn't too unreasonable after all. Clone ship. Yep, my opponent just spent another turn sitting up. ELP, that's going to be good in the long term, but I'm not sure it's good to install it now, just because I want to install it on a turn where I can at least res these 2. Although it is interesting or necessary to note that if they host TFP on Film Critic, which they're very likely to do, it doesn't break the ELP. Yeah, okay, so I think I am going to start by drawing another Ashigaru. That definitely isn't necessary. And then, yeah, I really need money, so let's interns back the launch campaign into server 1 and discard an Ashigaru. And hope they don't. So that gives us enough credits to res Cortex Lock, res Assassin if they continue, and still res launch campaign. Archives, cool. So I can res the crick, I think. Yeah, and they can't clone ship anything relevant, so perfect. Resing crick should be quite good because it lets me reinstall the launch campaign. And I know that it lets me, means I have to reinstall it in a new server, but it still isn't too bad. Actually, maybe we'll install an Ashigaru somewhere. No, I really don't need more Ashigarus. Let's install the launch campaign in a new server. Yeah, and then I take a damage from shock. It's a Crescentus. Running, yeah, cool. So they're running. Interesting that they chose to trash the pad first. But if we can get these launch campaigns protected for at least another turn, so let's start by drawing, and playing ELP. So discard. Yeah, as I was saying, if I can get these launch campaigns protected for at least one more turn, then we're well on the way to being able to set up an insurmountable remote. So all we're worried about is our opponent running HQ in the time before that happens, really. But looks like they're going for the long plan, which I think turns out much better for us. Cool. So, yeah. Anonymous tip, perfect. Jackson, also perfect. And Melange, perfect too. So that's... I know that if my opponent runs Jackson, we can't really use it for any great effect, but between ELP and this, like having so many cards in archives, it's really bad for them to run face down remotes when they don't know what they are, so I'm happy to just wait a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna wait one more turn, use Melange and wait one more turn, and then the turn after Jackson back in, at least the 2 Vanity projects and a TFP. Dagger. Okay, so it is. Clot doesn't do anything against us, but Crescentus could be an issue. That does mean that maybe we should be waiting a couple more turns than I normally would. So I'm gonna just Melange again and discard Vanity Project. No, because then if I discard Vanity Project now, if they run, I'm forced to use. If they run this server, I'm forced to use Jackson. Am I? No, because... Let's see. No, I'll just discard the Melange. No, because I think they might have legwork. Like, they might be setting up to legwork, so yeah, let's discard the Vanity Project. And then if they run here, then I'll use the Jackson. And if they don't run, well, then that's perfect for us. Like, I know the kit only has 10 influence, but we've only seen a Clot and a Corroder, so legwork seems perfectly reasonable to still have. Run R&D. Alright, well, there are four agendas still here, but but they'll be bounced out, I think, by this Ashigaru, which is perfect since it's dirty laundry. So 1, 2, or maybe they'll just be able to get in. Oh, let's see. No, yeah, they definitely won't be able to get in. Oh, they did? Oh, I see, they had extra credit left on the lockpick. Okay, well, you know. Regardless, I think it was good, just because now, if they hit the last future perfect, they can't score it. Shock, yep. They can't trash it either. And nothing, perfect. So yeah, I think this is actually a secure enough position that I can discard the TFP and start scoring soon. So let's just Melange one more time, discard TFP. And then I'll have the 2 agendas still in my hand that I want to keep. Just because, yeah, our opponent's really not close to being able to assault our servers profitably. But I do want to find a Batty before I start doing that, so let's use Jackson. Hedge Fund. And install in server 1, maybe. Yeah, let's install in server 1. And then discard a future perfect. So yeah, they're just setting up. That's cool. I mean, I know I've said they've just been setting up for basically every turn of the game, but it really does seem to be the case. So do I want to advance? They have 8 credits. They need 2 to boost, so they can get in. Basically, then the thing is that Ashigaru, even with Kit's ability doesn't really help against Ashigaru. Like, it saves you 1 credit and lets you use lockpick credits, obviously, but I think it's actually fine to just triple advance. It's gonna mean that I do need to win the side game, but you know, I think you can't really, like, yeah, them only having 8 credits means it's kind of difficult for them to try and go in anyway, especially when they know that there's a defensive upgrade here. Yep, cool. So they're just running R&D, which is going to turn out not so great for them because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 agendas, only 2 agendas left. Oh, Crescentus, yep, that's no problem. Crescentus is quite a good card, but not when my opponents let me have Melange for so long. Oh, yep, cool. Although it is possible, there are 2 agendas left, so it's not impossible that there's still something. Or, you know, it's not even super unlikely. Cool, so let's just score this before anything happens to it. Alright, we still have 23 credits, which is more than enough. And discard this Melange. Is our opponent even able to trash it? 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. No, there's far too many cards, right? I'm not sure if they want to do that, but yep, let's just wonder if that's what they want to do. You can rewind if you like. I'm just solving this problem here. I think it would be kind of silly for my opponent to run, so. Oh, no, they've decided to just leave it. Okay, that's cool too. Yep, cool, so let's just try and close this game out. So 21 is still enough to res Ashigaru, res Susano, and then at least have them pay 1 or 0. Oh, cool. Yep, they've just decided that they can't get in at all and are conceding. Alright, cool. Perfect. Good game. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. This is Wilfy Horig, signing off. Chaos Juggler on ginteki.net. Thanks.